Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Swift Social. It's kindly sponsored by Used Cars NI, so thanks guys for sorting us out with another microphone. So we've got upgraded in the last while, which we've seen you. We're joined this week by Mr. Andrew Davey, ex-Irish League referee and now head of referee recruitment of the RFA. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Good. First things first, I need to talk about it. 2000 and I can't remember, 6 years ago or something, there was this thing, Sky Football. The camera panned to you and you could see the accent, that kind of thing. I can't say the word online, but I've got a clip of it here. It is here.
You say you see the accent, I look like I'm from up the country, up this way somewhere.
But I was about to say, you can tell that you're from Bangor.
Yeah.
Anything past the ban, farmers, tractors, everything else.
Okay.
All you city boys.
It's a strange, it was a strange day because it was a cup final. It was a league cup final, live on Sky, Ballymena versus Linfield. And what we used to do was, as a group of referees, we used to go out. So we used to go to the games, cup finals, and then we used to go out for drinks afterwards. There was a group. It happened in the game. I never thought anything of it. I was actually after I missed a red card tackle, but we'll not go into that.
No, we'll not talk about decisions are just a no-no.
We'll not talk about that, but there was a bit of argy-bargy and it happened and never thought anything of it. I then went to a bar in Belfast and there was a group of them. There was the referees from the game were the only ones there, and we were sitting and we were having a chat and a pint and everything was good. And then all the other referees who had been out for a few drinks more came into the bar, and obviously things were a bit more rowdy with them because they had a few more drinks, and they kept on saying the phrase, and I still hadn't caught on, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
I went viral all over Twitter.
What are you talking about? And then it was only then somebody says, have you not seen the WhatsApp group? And I said, no. I did, but there was about 150 messages in it from the game finished. And I was like, I haven't looked at it at all. I didn't look at them at all. And then go back and look at it. And I went back and looked at it. And then I seen the video and I was like, oh, okay. It sort of hit up afterwards, obviously, massively. My kids kept on telling me how many views it got on Twitter. I think
you should be making money from that, correct?
Well, this is the problem. If it's on YouTube and over 1 million views, then yes. But if it's on Twitter, you don't get. So we're trying to get it.
But I know nowadays.
Back in the day, whenever I done it,
you missed the boat there. You missed the boat there.
So they kept on telling me 8 million, so many views or something all the time.
Would have been raking it in there.
And it still comes up every now and then. It still comes up every February time.
I try and find it all the time, just because it's just one of those things where someone's giving you a bit of a jip and you're just like, right, chill out, calm down here.
It's funny as well because there was a list of things that I could have said when you look at the accent. People were like below it, and there was a couple of ones in there that I had to look at it and go, what did I say?
Well, it's like you can actually it's quite a comment, you can actually see the accent. And I was just like, that's just brilliant.
The funniest part of it as well was one of the players, I'll not say the name of who I was shouting at, came up to me about 6 months later and said, I see that thing on that was hilarious. And I was like, it was you I was talking to.
And he goes, probably wasn't hilarious at the time.
He goes, was it? I didn't even realise.
We'll not go into the intelligence of some footballers, thanks. But the reason why you're here, you are trying to recruit more referees.
Yeah, obviously we have a massive shortage. Not a massive shortage, but we have a shortage of adult referees. Kids games we can get covered 10 times over with the amount of people that are available for them. But it's getting people into that adult side of the game. People just don't seem to be want to get involved in that. So we're massive. Every league is short at the moment. Every league throughout Northern Ireland. This isn't just a Northern Ireland thing either. There's a massive push from UEFA. When it comes to recruitment of referees, they have a whole Be a Referee program. You see not a sponsorship, but the hashtag Be a Referee on referee stops in European games and things like that there. So it's a shortage across Europe. The pandemic sort of hate come back to it, but the pandemic seemed to be a massive thing for it. It is
still in existence, sadly. People still talk about it.
It's still it's been a massive hit from that, so we need a lot of referees. So we've taken this month of November to have a recruitment month, shall we say. So we've got free courses, we've got discounted online courses, as much as we can to try and we need roughly about 1,000 referees in Northern Ireland.
Is that including referees, linesmen?
Across the board. So we need about 1,000 across the board to cover every game sort of comfortably. We're sitting about 650, 700 at the moment.
Brilliant.
So over the next 2-3 years, we want to try and get to that thousand figure if we can. So this month we've got 3 courses. We're doing one Sunday. We're in Dungannon at the moment upstairs. We're thankful for the room up there to get the course done. As well today we have one in Belfast in the National Stadium happening. There's about 55, 60 that are there at the moment. So we're just trying to use this month to try and get as many involved as we can. We've got a couple of promotions, free shirt, signed shirt for a winner, and a couple of tickets and stuff to try and get people incentivized.
I don't want to say sadly, but sadly it does take that extra incentive for people to go into something like refereeing. You talk about the become a referee badge on the tops. There's also the respect badge.
Yeah.
That is a big part to play.
Massive.
In a referee.
Yeah.
I was brought up playing rugby in school, and first things first, referee, you're the most politest person to him because he's the one that can obviously call the decisions.
Yeah.
Do you think they brought it into the Euros, I think, this year, that only the captain could speak to the referee?
Yeah.
How do you find, say, when you were refereeing, everybody coming around you?
We have to remember it's not only so that rule we brought into the top 3 divisions in Northern Ireland as well.
Yeah.
So it's only regarding the sort of major decisions.
Yeah.
So whenever there is a penalty call, a red card call, or a goal disputed or some major, then it's the referee will then look and try and speak to the captain to explain the decision a little more. It's something that I've probably done a lot when I refereed to try and use the captain and give them a bit. It depends on who it was.
The responsibility of the captain is control your team. So then. If you speak to the captain, then the message should be relayed.
Sometimes it's the captain that's giving you the problems, though.
Well, we'll get into that at a later stage. But you're talking about if 4 or 5 players come round, you're only human at the end of the day. You're going to make mistakes.
Yeah, and
you don't have ice in the back of your head.
That's the biggest part of it. And a referee, it's one of these things about always apologising for decisions. And one thing I would never have done is apologise for a decision. I might look at it and say, listen, on hindsight, I got it wrong. I would actually have done this instead. Yeah. But I'm not apologising because, and it sounds bad, I'm not apologising, but I've given what I think I've seen at the time. That may be different when it comes to looking at it again on a different angle or looking at it from a different way. But I'm not going to say I've never went out there to cheat someone. I've never went out there to intentionally get something wrong. But I'll always open up, and I spoke to many managers, and I'll speak to a lot now as well regarding decisions that are made. And we are human. They may be made in the moment. Looking back on
second decisions, well, not have to be an hour later, but
no, won't.
we'll have to. But like as you say, it's a split second decision. You have to make an instant call.
And it's sometimes it's with a gut, and when you say that, sometimes it is a gut decision. We'll all watch football, we'll all watch games, and a tackle may go in, and we all go.
Yeah.
It's generally general that it's a bad tackle. It's probably going to be a red card. So sometimes you do have that gut feeling about what's happened or what's done. Sometimes that gut can be wrong. Sometimes you may see somebody can run across in front of you at the wrong time. So there's lots of different reasons why. But a referee never goes out to get something intentionally wrong. But it's listen, we now use video analysis a lot more than what we've ever done, and that's we have a new system, Ref Pal, involved at the moment, which is clipped every game. So every game's clipped, and we get them all sent out to the referees, and they analyse their own performance. So
that's like the same as the players get all their performances clipped. So
massive, and it's something that we've done bits and pieces of over the last few years, but this year we've tried to really focus in on it and get the referees to open up more on their decisions. And it's not so we're not there to hammer someone. We're not there to say, listen, a referee can go. I went to watch a referee yesterday who had 5 penalty decisions correct, 3 non-penalties not given, which were right, and 2 penalties given. There might be a yellow card that he could have given here or there or whatever, but he's got the big massive decisions right. So we have to sort of praise someone who goes out and does that and gets the big decisions right, and that's what we're looking for.
People get too hung up about the wrong decisions better or quicker than the right decisions, as you say.
It's amazing how many players give off about a throw-in in the halfway line.
Here, not taking a throw-in where it's actually from. Just like, where's he going, ref?
And it's funny, sorry, I shouldn't say it, but you can wind fans up sometimes because they'll give off.
I like the fact that you do that though, because don't get me wrong, I'm holding my hands up. I do shout a wee bit of abuse, but I think it's friendly enough. There are people that do take it too far. Like, you know that FIFA badge you have?
Yeah.
Paul Robinson actually know Paul outside of football.
Okay.
So he's running the line down here and all the rest. And I'm like, did you buy that badge on eBay? Because I think he got a decision wrong. And he just turns around and laughs at you. And he gives you a bit back. And I love the fact that Raymond Krangle was another one.
Yeah.
He gave a bit back. Do you think players respect that a bit more when you are a little bit more normal with them instead of on your high horse like a referee can be?
I think the problem being is football's changing, and that might have been okay even 2, 3, 4 years ago. I think now, when you talk about personalities, you talk about the way the game's evolved. It's not as much that type of interaction at times because there's more professional players. There's more players there who are professional, who just want to go in, do the game and go on. Whereas I'm not saying we were a part-time league. There was a lot of banter we could have. I loved coming, when you talk about grounds, I love coming to Dungannon because it's so close and down that far side. When you talk about throw-ins, and like you let one team go, and then whenever it was on an away team on the far side and their players started encroaching, you blow the whistle and bring them back just to get the crowd to react.
you want that. You want the league to become more enjoyable for everybody involved. It's not just about the 11 players in the pitch and the 4 officials. It's about the fans getting the best experience they can get as well. It's
changed, and I think it's becoming more professional, which is great to see. It is a massive. The style of football's changed. The way the game has evolved here is brilliant for and the professional teams that we have, and even the types of Dungannon who aren't fully professional. The professionalism that they have brought into their team on a part-time basis it's brilliant. We're trying to get the referees up a lot, but I think that maybe takes away a wee bit from the fun side of it a wee bit when you've got players who are there. We've got players coming in from other countries. You've got players coming in who play full-time elsewhere who don't want that interaction at times. You still get the old one here who's been around and will still like it. But you'll get ones who come in and it's no one just here to play football and don't really talk. So I think it's changed a wee bit. That's the one thing since I retired. It's but the only thing I've missed is actually Saturday on a field of play to have that bit of fun. But no, I think the game's changed slightly and it's not as.
Talking about retirement, you actually retired quite early. For a referee. Was the role you're in now a major part of that?
If you ask some other fans, you might say I was too late in the retirement.
I could say some people in the Irish League still need to retire, but
you say I should have retired years ago.
The
whole reason was because of the job.
Okay.
So I'm senior referee and manager, looking after the senior panel, the top 3 divisions, but also then every referee below. I've an overseas for. So there was a change in the association. The old head of refereeing, Trevor Moodry, stepped down. We brought in a head of refereeing, Mike Riley, to look after the strategical side of things, the structures, the criteria, the sort of higher end stuff. And then I came in to do the day-to-day running of the referee department. So because I do the appointments, I can't referee, otherwise I'll be at some good games everywhere.
Well, that's also true. The best referees want to referee the best games, so we'll get into that a little bit later on for yourself as well. You're talking about players coming in from other countries. I'll call it an exchange program between referees from here and I think there was Latvia and Lithuania maybe at one time.
We have,
How did that come about?
We're looking to do more of those. Obviously, I'm not going to go back on it, but COVID sort of killed exchange programs. So it's good for our referees to go and experience other countries. It's good to go and experience other players. I remember whenever I was coming through, I went to Malta and refereed in Malta, and you had players from Brazil, you had players from all different countries playing in a league, whereas we only had Northern Ireland. You learn so much more communication.
We'll talk about the accent and that too. How hard is it to communicate, or do you have to repeat yourself so many times?
It's about using distinct words. So if someone needs treatment, doctor, that's it, just doctor. And then they'll learn.
And is that across the board for everywhere then?
European football, and you're dealing with someone that's trying to use the words that they'll understand. So, but that communication barrier, we didn't have that. Now we might have it a bit more as players come from outside, but I never came across having to speak to someone who's from a different country in football in terms.
People in here, people in this country, you still have to question what they say with their accent, to be fair.
There's a couple of players. Well,
not name any names, but I can imagine there's a couple.
There was one that was brilliant. I just used to say what every time he shouted at me. But no, we had all that, and that experience of going away. You're outside your comfort zone. I was in Malta in October. It was 32 degrees.
And now it's actually going to be 17, 18 degrees the first week of November. It's
a heat wave. So I had that. It's learning all the different things. It's being away from your comfort zone. It's doing all that, and it's still going to referee a game. So we offer that to other countries. We have one in the next few weeks where Gibraltar referees will be here doing a championship game on the Friday night and then doing a premiership game on the Saturday. And our referees will go to Gibraltar. I think they got the better deal.
Probably say so.
But they're going to Gibraltar to referee 2 of their Premier League games. So we're looking at other countries with other ones in line of where we'll do the same thing. But it's all about learning. It's all about getting out there, out of your comfort zone and doing games elsewhere.
Do you look at the same, when you're picking the other countries, do you look at the same standard of where you think the leagues will be?
You have to
So
be.
you're not putting someone out of their depth.
You have to be realistic. We
Yeah.
can't go to French La Liga and say,
Yeah.
or Spanish La Liga, or English Premier League.
Yeah.
They don't even do exchanges at any level throughout the football tier because it's too high a level.
Yeah.
So you have to be realistic on where you're going to. Now we have relationships with other countries, so we
Yeah.
have relationships with the likes of the. When you say smaller countries, ones that are near enough similar
Yeah.
to us. So we look at ones where the football might be the same sort of level. So
Yeah.
the teams are looking at European, the Conference League and things like that. They're top end teams within that. So you're looking at ones where football is roughly the same, but it's giving them that wee bit of exchange where it's different styles of football. Because I remember when I went to Malta last time, I had more football than I'd ever seen in any
Yeah.
Irish League game here, of passing the ball, keeping the ball, and the style of play being
Yeah.
different. So it's all experience, but yeah, we try to look at countries where they're similar in nature to what we are.
How do you choose who goes?
It's a hat, so you get
Okay.
anyone's name in it. No, we're strategic. We try to give. We look at the up and coming ones. So
Okay.
ones that we're looking to go into FIFA, ones that we're looking to have a chance of being a European referee. So they need that experience of going away for 2 or 3 days and refereeing a game on their way. It's not our boys who are European referees aren't out every week like you see the ones in the Champions League who are used
Yes.
to travelling.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
full-time referees. Our ones do a job here during the week, get 2 or 3 days holiday to go and do. We've Ben McMaster going to do a European Youth League game in Holland, I think, this week. So he's 2 days, 3 days off work where he'll go travel, do the game and then fly home again. So our boys aren't used to it. So we need to give the ones who are coming through the ranks, who we see to be maybe the next European referees, give them a chance of going and getting a wee bit of experience with doing those games.
The European referees, as I said, alluded to earlier, did they buy the badge on eBay?
Yeah.
Obviously not. But how do they get chosen?
Again, we can't be ageist about things. It's not an
Okay.
age, but obviously you have to look at the young up and coming referees.
Okay.
So we're looking, and it's a massive opportunity when we talk about the recruitment course upstairs. It's a massive opportunity for younger ones coming in who can go in and referee European games. You come in, start off with junior. When we say junior, junior's not age, junior's level in Northern Ireland, so it's the lower ends of the adult leagues. You can then progress into intermediate football, and then PIL's technically still intermediate
Okay.
football. Championship is in the next level, and then Premiership. So once you've worked your way up through those ranks, you're the right age profile, you pass the fitness test.
Yeah.
A lot of refereeing is what you do off the field of play.
Yeah.
Attending meetings, behaviour at grounds, behaviour at clubs, not swearing on live TV.
What you did was something different.
All those type of things. So a lot of it's what you do off, and if you're
Okay.
able to continue that on the field and perform well, be the right sort of age criteria, be the right sort of fitness criteria, the right image. If you look at all the referees now in Europe, they're not like myself and Raymond, who.
Don't get me wrong, they're just built like brick walls.
And if you look at them, we have ones here for the under-19s championships, and they're all big, tall, they're all proper full-time athletes.
Athletes, yeah.
They're full-time athletes. So we need to try and get to that stage. We need to try and get on to get. We're all in the same sort of club. Now the problem is a lot of those European countries, again, they're full-time referees.
Yeah.
So they have nothing other to do other than referee and travel. So
Yeah, obviously our boys still have their day-to-day
day
jobs
jobs.
that they're doing.
If you look at it on the panel, we've got contractors, we've got
Yeah.
office workers, we've got all different ones, all different jobs. So you have to do that and then still go and do a game at different times. So we need to get to that stage. Will we ever see a fully professional Irish league? Who knows? Will we ever see professional referees in the Irish league? Who knows? But that's things that we can all aim and try and get to.
Well, that's always in the future. Like, but going back to your past, obviously you were in Irish League for how long?
I was Irish League from 2012, 13. I was there for about 14, 15 years.
Yeah. And like you've obviously covered a couple of big games, probably not so big games as well.
Yeah.
What would be your most memorable game?
Most memorable game is probably coming to the end was the League Cup final, Cliftonville Coleraine.
That was the first Sunday one,
the
wasn't
first
it?
Sunday
Yeah.
final. Good crowd.
Massive.
Extra time. Coleraine, Cliftonville came back to win on extra time and stuff like that. Just for the Sunday experience,
Yeah.
the crowd experience, the game itself. In the way it chopped and changed, in the way it went, it was just one of those memorable games. That's what I had.
Do you have a worst experience?
Yeah, I probably have quite a few. If you talk about the Premiership, yeah, there's one of the first games coming through. I remember doing Distillery and Linfield at Windsor. I give, when you talk about split seconds decisions.
The pressure even the Liverpool fans, the pressure that they put on the Liverpool players, never mind the officials.
Yeah, and it was one of my first games at Windsor, and I remember, and I gave a penalty, and I thought to myself, that is a great call, that was a superb penalty. And then the reaction of the Distillery players would have suggested it wasn't a great call.
But you have to back yourself when you make those.
I did, and then walking off at half time, the manager from Distillery also suggested that it wasn't a great call. To which then I thought, maybe that isn't such a great call that I just made.
But it's all opinion based. Like,
no, it turned out it wasn't a great call.
Well, we're not going to know that. But it's decisions are opinion based. Like, my opinion of a challenge is going to be completely different to yours, completely different to Joe Blogg's.
Yeah.
You just have to take it.
The way I look at refereeing, especially when you look at coaches, you got Rodney McAree will play different style of football to Stephen Baxter.
Yeah.
Alright, so coaches will coach different ways. Coaches will go in and decide they have a style of play they want to do, and referees can actually do the same.
Yeah.
We do get the laws of the game, but there's one main phrase in the laws of the game, which is in the opinion of the referee.
Yeah.
Now, we can show clips, we do on a monthly basis, sit down with all our Premiership referees and look at video clips.
Yeah.
And within that room, you're still going to get differences of opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Now, some we will all look at and go, yeah, no, that's a clear yellow, that's a clear red, everyone else is happy enough with that. Whereas, there'll be ones that we're going, no, we're not too sure what we're going to do, and we'll discuss it. So, in the laws of the game, I may say it's nothing, play on.
Yeah.
Somebody else can say it's just a free kick. Somebody else can say it's a free kick and a yellow, and technically somebody could say it's a free kick and a red.
Does it depend on the flow of the game though, as well?
Massive. Temperature of the game, the type of game. Our game has evolved massively here.
Yeah.
And when we look at like the tackles, I was talking to someone the other day, and you look at like the big two games on Boxing Day, the big two derbies, local derbies, aren't really what they used to be.
I missed that.
I terribly miss it, and that was one of the things when you met the referee those games, you were expecting a battle, you were expecting kick and lumps out of each other. Yeah. That's not the way it is anymore. It's a tactical based game. Yeah. There's very rarely the opportunity for tackles and bad tackles. So it does now. Obviously, you got those games. Even if you look at some of the teams, the people in the teams made those competitive. You had the Glentoran ones, you had Linfield ones, you had Dungannon players, you Portadown players, or whatever. You had people in that team from that town, from that who were die hard for that club, and that's maybe gone a wee bit. It's not just about a team and to play for it, and it's not as the same sort of feelings in the teams, if you know what I mean. So those games are gone, but you still get the odd one where the temperature's going to rise. You talk about players early on there and the smartness of players. It could be the smallest of things that will set any player off. So you can be going on and the game's going okay, and then all of a sudden there's one small thing in the game and then everyone then wants to kill each other. So it can, depending on the type of game, depending on where it is, what you're going to let go, what you're not going to let go. The last thing you want to go into any local derby and have a big thunderous tackle and just say play on, because if you do that, the next 89 it's going to be an absolute nightmare for you.
You set out the standard from minute one in a sense.
Yeah, you have to go in as well, and it's really hard because people always ask about game plans. Should a referee have a game plan? We do. We can go in sometimes with players who either play for the other club. There might be a bit of history, and you might think about those things. But you can go in as a referee into a game, at any game, and go, these two here each other are going to kick lumps at each other, and then go out and everyone just plays football and there's nothing happening. So you have to take it as you see it when it happens, but you have to also be prepared that there can be that small, minuscule flashpoint in any game, and it'll just blow up into something that you're not expecting.
The handbags, as everybody calls it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's usually settled by yellow card, done. Does that decision change when there's one player already on a yellow card?
It depends on what we're sort of talking about. So when we talk about the mass confrontations and we talk about the sort of the handbags or the gathering of the clans, you can have a gathering of the clans where everybody runs in and then gets there and realises, I don't know what I ran in here for, I'll just stop.
Goalkeeper coming up 90 yards, probably the one, I don't mean to say this bad, but unfittest player in the pitch because he was obviously standing in the yard box. I think Beth, by the time he gets there, has to run back.
So there's different ways of looking at it. So we have a gathering of clans, which is a nothing, which is where people just come together, all of a sudden congregate and have a wee bit of a chat, and then everyone disperses. You can have what I would call probably a mass confrontation where there's a bit more physicality in it. Ideally, what we're always looking for, if there is all those type of players in, we need equal punishment for both teams. So we need a yellow card for each team, a red card for each team. If there's somebody, so if you're looking at it as a yellow card for a team, if I'm going to give 2 yellow cards, one to each player, if I end up following that with a red card to one team, that team then automatically, they can be the same aggressive attitude from both teams, but if I'm sending one player off and not the other, what does the team who gets a player sent off think? they're being harshly treated because
But that
of what
comes down to
happens.
common sense.
So then that's when maybe we need to look and see if we can find somebody else who's maybe not on the card to try and make it look as even as possible, because what we're trying to do is everything you do in a field of play is to try and keep 11 players on the pitch. That's one thing we always tell referees. Your whole job is to try and keep 11 players on the field of play as much as you can. You cannot dictate for someone to jump in 2-footed and then that has to go, or somebody punch someone, that has to go. But ideally what we want to try and do is manage it to keep it at 22. At the end of the day, it's a spectacle. That's what we want to try and keep it as. Shouldn't all be about the referee.
No, sometimes it is. Sometimes
but it shouldn't be always about the referee. It should be about the players and about the ones that are there. So that's what we're trying to get.
Grassroots refereeing, obviously you've touched on, it's easy enough to get a referee for a underage game because you don't need to have that adult side of it. Does referee come under, speaking to somebody who worked yesterday whose little girl actually plays in a boys team, she's brilliant, don't get me wrong, and she was saying the team she was playing against were very verbally offensive, we'll call it, so she's swearing and stuff, and they went up to the referee and says, look, it's actually starting to get to me, the fact that they're doing this. Is the responsibility of the referees for the players of the teams and their behaviour, and say the coaches and the parents on the sideline?
Kids football is such a minefield when it comes to the refereeing, because we're there to be deemed as, yes, the referee for the game, but also as much as the surrounding sort of areas and the sort of the pitch side as much as we can. Although you're probably no real authority, you've no authority over parents, you've no authority on anyone on the sidelines really. So it's a minefield. A lot of people do kids football because they don't have the aggression coming at them from players, but they get it from the parents in junior football, and it's a wee bit easier to deal with. The swearing type of thing at kids football, we shouldn't be involved in kids football. We should never have it, and it's up to the referee to try and speak to the coaches, speak to them to try and get it nipped in the bud and stopped, because at junior football, at kids football, it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be there. But it is. It's. And again, it can be where teams are from. It can be just that it's just normal language for them, but it's on the football pitch. It shouldn't be used. So we try to get them to it's always about common sense. So we talk about the laws of the game, law of 18, common sense is what we try and promote with referees. We try and get them to make it that they are able to have that common sense and look outside the laws of the game sometimes to try and get things managed. But the kids football is a minefield.
Touching on the abuse that you get from parents, obviously that would filter down to the children. You're told to ignore things on the pitch, but how hard is it to ignore the constant abuse you get from fans?
It is. Listen, a lot of the time when a game's happening, you don't actually hear the outside noise, and even at junior and intermediate football, you're not really hearing it. You can hear people shouting, you can hear some things. When the ball's dead, you'll hear more things because obviously
you're not concentrating
on what's happening. But as a referee, you probably switch off to a lot of it, to be honest with you. You only hear certain things. You only hear. You try to hear to be specific here. You only want to hear certain things. You don't. The outside noise shouldn't affect you because you're there to concentrate on a game of football. As you go up the ranks, it definitely doesn't affect you because you've got a crowd there. You've got different ones. It was actually quite good. I'd done the Irish Cup final in 21 where there was 500 fans for the first time in a game. That
was a post-COVID one.
Yeah, and to hear the referees being chanted was actually quite nice because you had people back in the stadium.
You do get used to it too, but I think, I don't want to name drop anyone, but I think Lee Tambley came out and said that he had spoken out about the mental abuse that he was getting, and you can see that some abuse can be borderline, but then you do get one.
As a referee, you're meant to just take it and meant to take it, and it shouldn't be the case. It should never be the case that we're just there to take it. It should be the case in life. No, and it's different. It's different when it goes from the pitch, and I'm happy enough. Listen, people shout things and people have a thing at the pitch, and if it's in a curve, it's not right. I'm not saying it's right to shout abuse, but if it stays there on the football pitch and it's about decisions, then I'm alright. Listen, you can say things that shouldn't be said, and that's totally unacceptable. But if it's just a bit of shouting about a decision or a bit of giving off, a bit of banter, that's good. I'm happy enough. myself, Raymond, were probably ones who probably give a bit back
Yeah.
to those type of people at times, which created a bit of not a friendship, but a wee bit of a relationship again. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, but you should never have it. And it's when it goes off the football pitch. It's when you've got it on now social media. It's now when you've got it when you're out and about. If you're just walking around, people shouting and giving off. That's when it shouldn't happen. And I've always said, if anyone ever wanted to talk to me at any time about a decision, and you see me, then talk to me. I'll talk to anybody. But
there's a difference in talking, and there's a difference of giving off.
Being talked to.
Yeah.
And there is that, and it's massively in that, but at the end of the day, what we have to remember is there's a human side to it.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why I like doing these type of things. I like doing as much as I can. We do a lot of stuff with clubs, we do a lot of stuff with leagues, where we try to show the human side of refereeing to as many people as possible. We are there because, it may not look like it, we actually enjoy football. We love football. We're there. Field players, probably.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't want to say that, but like.
But no, we are.
Why is that when you started being a referee?
well, yeah, it was actually. That's where most people start. That's where people get into it. So we love the game. We're not there to intentionally make mistakes. We're not there to intentionally ruin anyone's day. But we have a job to do. So we have a job to do. That's an important job on the day. We do it at the best of our ability. We do it to the best of our with integrity. Sometimes we may get things wrong. Players get a lot of things wrong at different times as well. But they may not have highlighted as much as what a referee does. So if it stays at the football field and it stays there, then that's okay. It's when they take it away from the football field, that's when the problems.
I'm sure without referees we wouldn't even have any football.
And that's the problem, and I hate to say it, but we're the common denominator in there. We need to have them. And we try to educate them, we try to do them as best as possible, but at the end of the day there's always going to be mistakes, there's always going to be decisions that people don't agree with. At the end of every football match, or most football matches, you've got 11 players who like the referee because they won, and you've got 11 players who don't because they got beat. So we have to look at it and balance it and look at it those ways.
And that's why we're running stuff like you are today.
Yes.
Just to try and get more in.
Exactly.
VAR, you don't want to talk about it, but it's the most controversial thing that I think has ever been introduced into football.
Massively.
When used correctly, brilliant.
Yeah.
But I think even at the weekend there, Kieran McKenna came out and said about the decisions of the VAR, how long it takes is the one that gets me.
Yeah.
And then they're introducing this semi-offside
Semi-automatic,
system,
yeah.
which I think is great because it takes out the human error, so the referees can't be blamed.
It'll not be long before there's no assistant referees. It'll just be a camera on the side that does it for them.
Just be a robot in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah. Well, there is talk about that, to be honest with you. There is talk about AI and all this here, what they can bring into it and how they can do these things. For me, I would rather leave a football pitch knowing that I've got as much right as possible.
Yes.
The last thing I want to be doing is walking away. Listen, it killed me at times whenever you went home. There's a few Saturday nights I left the phone in the car because you know there's a decision that, one, it could be wrong. Two, it's maybe not the most popular. It might be right, but it's not popular. So you don't want to deal with it. I'd rather have, on a Saturday, walk away as a referee going, listen, VAR's come in, we've got all the decisions right, so there's less controversy. Now, when we talk about using it right and using it, our biggest problem is that we have the English Premier League as our sort of main focus for VAR. They have went through issues with it, they have went through the problems with it. They're probably getting a little bit better, to be honest with you. The training.
I think my opinion might differ years on that one, but
they are, and it is getting better. But when you look at it used in the likes of the European competitions, you look at it when it's used.
Ireland used it for the first time.
Yeah, they had it there. Yeah, so they've had it even their qualifying games. They had having their qualifying games as well. So that was the first time, and all senior international men internationals. The women's game there on Tuesday night, it had VAR as well. So when used correctly in like those European competitions, it's a good tool. I'd rather go home knowing that I haven't seen a penalty, but VAR comes in and says no, you need to look at this, or vice versa. The hardest one we took our guys, so we have VAR trained officials in Northern Ireland. For European competitions. It'll not be for local competitions, but for European. So I went over to Stockley Park and looked at the English Premier League, and how they operate it and how they do it, and it's not as easy as it.
I would say so, but again, it's opinion based.
Massively it is, and if you look at now the English Premier League, they went back to what they call is the referee's call. So they're now putting more emphasis on the decision the referee is given at the time. So they're now going to look at it, and if the two, so there's a VAR and an assistant VAR. So if the two of them are looking at it and going, we can't really decide, then they have to go, well, we'll have to go with the referee's decision. So they're putting more emphasis back on.
But they're putting more responsibility on the referee.
Yeah, they're putting it back that way. And what the whole point of VAR is, and what happened when it came in at the start, referees were not making decisions, hoping the VAR was going to pull them out. And that's not what the whole point of VAR is.
But like as a football fan, you don't want to see that either.
No.
You want any aspect, like you just want somebody to take the balls by the horn. And it's just that's my opinion. That's final. And suffer the consequences if there is any after it.
We need to get to that, and that's what it is. And I think they've cut down the times. The hardest one is probably when you talk about VAR is the offsides, because it's trying to get the correct angle looking across. It's trying to get the right last player, the right part of the body, the right part of the body of the attacker, the right part of the body of the defender, and trying to get those lines matched up. So that's probably where the longest time comes in on offside calls. And if we get that automated one where it's
pretty much instant,
there it is, then that's a good way of going.
But then because all the controversial decisions seem to be about offsides, that would cut that out completely.
Massively.
There's nothing to blame, but
massively,
but
then computers can go down as well.
Well, we were talking about rules in the last one with Higgsy and Simon, and I'd forgot to bring this one up about the offside rule, the grey area, as in like a toenail. Like, would you give the benefit of the doubt to the attackers in that decision,
technically,
or the defender?
When we look at it, offside is offside. If any part of the body is offside, whether it be a toenail, whether it be a big toe, big toe, whatever it is, technically when it comes down to the player's offside, they're offside. And that's one of the ones where there's no leeway. It's not an opinion basis. If you're offside, you're offside. And they've looked at changing it in many different ways. And Arsene Wenger came out and said the whole body had to be in front of the defender for it to be offside. Is that what it was? So they said the whole body. Every part of the body had to be in an offside position. But again, it's strange actually, because I flicked on Sky Sports the other day, and it was in one of the old retro games where if you were offside, you were offside.
The TV was like a square thing, and there's black things.
Black and white, and maybe it was Newcastle were playing, I'm not too sure. But offside was offside, and the ball came in, crossed in front of the assistant referee, and it was blocked just in front of him. But there was a player inside the box who was in an offside position, and they gave offside. Ball was nowhere near him, it didn't get anywhere near him, but you were offside, and that's a simple way it is. Nothing was ever considered in that.
Do you think VAR will make an appearance in the Irish League?
I do think it will do, to be honest with you. I think it probably, we need it, in all honesty. If you look at the Wales are bringing in VAR from next season in their league. We're one of very few leagues in Europe.
Does it come down to money?
In football, do you think that's an important part?
No. It is.
So everything is. If you look at everything,
the money it takes to have the cameras everywhere.
Everything in football, everything comes down to the money side of it. And if you look at it, the Welsh should be slightly different in the fact that their football association are able to pay money towards the VAR, but they've also qualified for 3 major tournaments in the last so many years and have money there to do so. So it does come down to who pays for it, who implements it, who pays for the upkeep of it, who pays for the cameras, who pays for the VAR. You have to have a room, you have to have bands, you have to have something. Don't forget as well, a lot of leagues will split their games. Now we are lucky this weekend. This weekend we have Friday, Saturday and Sunday games. Now most weekends, some weekends,
6 on Saturday.
So we have to have 6 separate VARs to operate at every game. So it's a money. So it's not only just the technology. You've got then people, because you're going to have VAR, as in people that operate the VAR, but you're also going to have a VAR referee and assistant VAR if you do it that way. So it's all about the money and who pays for it. But we are one of 4 or 5 nations probably in Europe that don't have some sort of VAR. Now some countries don't have every game covered, but certain games.
I think in England they don't do the League Cup.
No, well, certain grounds.
Yeah, but then I think that's really unfair.
Massively.
Yeah.
I don't see the
point in that. If you're not going to have it every ground, just don't have it.
I think that's the way it should be, and I think that's the way it is. So championship, I think they're looking to bring in the championship in the next few years.
I think the championship is actually more exciting than the Premier League.
I would rather watch League 1, League 2 or the championship sometimes.
Just because of the decisions that are being made.
Yeah, it's funny if you the decisions are shocking.
No, as in the you're trying to get me over there. No, but like just the whole, it's the length of time he gets me. I'm coming from a rugby background and how they use it properly, but rugby's a lot more stop-start than football.
I also think, and I don't really, my son started playing rugby, I'm becoming a wee bit more au fait with the rules. But I think the rules in rugby are maybe a bit more black and white.
Yes.
And that sort of helps. It's not maybe as opinion based as what football rules are. And the laws of the game are very much in the opinion of the referee.
Yeah.
Like upstairs, we'll sit and we'll show them clips of tackles. And we can't say that this is automatically a yellow card, but what we say is these are things you should look for when a tackle happens, and what makes it a free kick in yellow or free kick in red, because then it goes down to what they. And again, we show clips upstairs, but they're never going to see that same tackle on the same position, the same field of play, the same players. So every tackle always has that bit of difference in it. So it's trying to get some sort of common line down the middle. But rugby's a bit more, I think, black and white.
Yeah, concrete. Do you still go to games?
Every weekend. I go if it's not junior intermediate. I was at a junior game yesterday morning in Cookstown, and then went to Banbridge to a PIL game afterwards. So I go to as many games.
It's not just the top level you do.
No, I get shouted at too much when I go to games.
But then at this time you can actually pick the game to go to.
Yeah, I'll pick one where I can sit far enough away.
Yeah.
So no, I go to games every weekend. Tuesday night as well, League Cup's on. I'll go to a game on Tuesday night, probably I'll go to the Lauren game on Thursday. I go to as many games as possible. I think it's important to see to have that face of the ground.
Yes.
And again, at any ground, if anyone wants to talk about a decision that's happened or I got there, as long as there's a two-way conversation, I'm happy having that with anyone. So I go to as many games as possible. It's important to see. Obviously, I need to see the referees. I need to know what ones we have coming through.
You there too, though.
Massively, yeah. So I went literally, I was up yesterday morning early, went to Cookstown and watched the referee who didn't know was coming, just because I know he's on our referee academy. I don't really know him as a referee, so it's good to go out and see him operating in the game and sort of see where he is, to see how we're going to progress.
Do you give them advice?
Always, yeah, always. And again, I try not to be negative about it, but you're trying to give me things that they can learn from.
Criticism.
Yes, we'll go with constructive criticism. But you're trying to give me bits and pieces. And one thing I'll always tell any referee is to go and watch football. Yeah. Go and watch other referees, especially at your level. Yeah. Because you'll go and watch a referee who's doing the same type of games as you, and they may do something, and you're going, I don't like that, I would never do that, I don't want to never do that, come across that way. But they might go, oh, that's good, I could try to bring that into my game. It's about like players watching, you know what I mean? For anyone here who's a right back and wants to watch Conor Bradley playing for Liverpool, they'll pick things up from him because what he's doing and how he's playing football. So it's all those type of things that everything's learning. Yeah. Go and watch as much football as possible.
As you say, you're constantly learning. As you say, the game's constantly evolving as well, so you still have to keep on top of.
I was in a junior game yesterday and they're all playing out from the back, like it's like they're all thinking.
And the ball going to see across the edge.
And that was the BIL game as well. But no, it's football has it, and it's not just a long football anymore. It's like yesterday's morning game was a good bit of football played by both teams, and it's changed. But yeah, no, I try to get out as much as possible. I'll always Saturday afternoon. I said I've actually started missing refereeing. Yeah. And for the first wee bit I didn't, and towards the end of last season, I then realised I missed it.
But you were accustomed to say 14 years every Saturday.
Tuesday nights. Even before that.
Going on trips to every European game.
But even before when I played, Saturday afternoons for me has always been a football. Yeah. Saturday afternoons has always been football, so I went straight from playing into refereeing. And now I need to still have that fix off a game. I don't have it in the middle, so I go and watch whether it be Premiership, Championship, PIL or intermediate football anywhere. I can go and try and look at trying to get ones close together, so I can try and get 2 or 3 in, so take different ones at different times.
Good. I'm actually really glad to hear that. It's still good games and you're not just sitting in an office.
No,
in my opinion, a lot of people might do.
A lot of you ones down this neck will always give off the last ones from the big smoke don't come out the clubs. And that's what you try to do as well. I would try and get around all the clubs, especially Premiership, Championship and the PIL. You try to get around all the home games, at least one home game a season and at all the grounds, just sort of again to have your face in it.
Good. Couple of fun things to finish up with. We'll get on to your Irish League Referee 11 shortly.
Okay, thank you.
There's a couple of, obviously when you're playing days, I'm going to name drop a couple of people.
Okay.
When you're going to name drop a couple of people.
Okay.
Who would have been the best person on the pitch to referee? Who would have been the most respectable person to you?
Respectable person? Locally, the most respectful person would have been Howard Beverland. Always comes across in my head. Howard Beverland's always one that you could talk to. We'd always had a conversation with you. We'd always had a chat with you. From his Korean days right through now to Bangor, I think he's at the moment. He would always have chatted to you and always had that sort of respect two-way, which is a good thing.
Manager?
respectful, or respectful
Yeah,
manager.
yeah.
Respectful manager. Gee, now you put me on the spot. I'm trying to think of who there has been over the days. Who there has been. Respectful manager. You've got the likes of, listen, they're all respectful in their own way, and everyone's come through. I've never had any real issues with them. Rodney, if you look at Rodney, he's always one that is respectful in the way that he'll always talk to you, he'll always have a chat. And it's having that, I completely understand, and most of them have always been the same with me in the fact that you would have, you can shout at me for the 90 minutes, but see when we come in, if we can have a chat afterwards when we come in, and have that talk and have that discussion about a decision, and then it's okay. So it's hard to sort of pick one to be honest with you, because I've never had anyone that's really ever been totally disrespectful, so let's call it out there.
This will make me a little bit easier. Biggest yap.
Robbie Garrett ribs. I will always talk about, he just always wanted to motivate him, and always, and I got on really well, and I got on well when you could talk to him, but he was always one that he would kick the ball out of play and still say it was his throwing.
But do you find, see when people are, we'll call them, I don't want to say yaps because the best word to describe somebody, do you have that in your head, say when you're obviously going to referee a game, this person's going to be on my case from minute one? Do you have that in your head when you're doing that?
Should you have a game plan as a referee?
Yeah.
Should you?
Did you? Do you?
You do, because you need to have some sort of, listen, we're not going out to say, you've got this player, I'm going to go and get him. Do you know what I mean? I've got Ryan Harper. He's going to yap at me for so long.
You were saying Ryan here, and so you're going to say Ryan Mays, but I think
Mays another one. So you've got ones who you know are going to moan and shout from minute one. You've got ones that are going to moan and get off. Choker, whenever he was here, all the ones that they're all the same type of players. You go in with a game plan and you know that how the teams are going to play. So that's important for you as a referee to see how you're going to play, because Crusaders back in the day went long, whereas you went to Dungannon, now they're going to try and play from the back. So you need to understand that. You need to understand players who play for either team, because they might have a bit of history with the other team. So you need to understand that this might be a thing. Sometimes as well, we know as referees from being involved in games that there's players who don't like other players. So there's players in certain teams who every time they play each other, they clash. And something that we talk about as referees, and you know, so if them players are coming up against each other, I'm not going to name any before you get a chance.
Okay, don't worry.
But we know that that's going to happen. So you might have a left back who always argues with a right winger of another team. So those type of things. You might have a player who's competitive, like a real hard tackling midfielder, who you know that you need to be close to and have a chat with and try and calm down all the time. So it's not like you're going out. All you're trying to do is make the 90 minutes less problematic for you as a referee.
As smooth as possible.
And that's why you come away. If you can come away with being not the centre of attention and not being brought up on decisions, then that's what you're looking for. So if I could say, I've always said this as well, I have a good relationship, or a good enough relationship with a lot of players. I'm not trying to be any of their best friends. I don't want to go out and see them any other time outside of football. I'm not going to go and chase them for anything else. But if I can get on their good side for 90 minutes during that game, and it makes my life easier, then I'm going to sort of do that.
Makes your life easier too.
Yeah, if we can both make it easier for the 90 minutes, then that's when we're going to try and get there.
Yap as a manager?
Yap as a manager, they're always bad. There's no point even going like that there. There's no point even trying to narrow
so
it down.
they're all respectful, but they're all yaps at the same time?
They're yaps for the 90 minutes, and then afterwards then they'll come back and they're respectful. So listen, they all have their moments, and we have to as well remember as referees, they're under pressure. They're under pressure as much as we're under pressure. And we have to understand as well as, listen, I am never going to say one decision is going to get a manager fired. It's not going to be one decision. No. Alright, we actually had Matthew Tipton come into our referees championship, premiership and PIL meeting to do a bit of a talk regarding the pressures of management and the sort of stuff. Tippy says he couldn't talk for that long, and I was like, oh Tippy, we're done here now. We got a presentation, no, I'm just going to wing it. So, great. But he came in and he was able to sort of say, he was saying as well, he said the same thing, that one decision never got me fired. Listen, we were awful for so many games. It'll always be portrayed that one decision, there was a decision he talked about that got a club relegated, will not go into and things, but that one decision didn't get it relegated. The fact is so we have to remember that, and we'll always remember clubs are under, managers under pressure, they do feel the pressure, and sometimes what we have to remember is, and with referees as well, the ones who are part-time, have a lot of going on outside of football. So whether it be work, whether it be family, and sometimes you can feel that. Sometimes you're refereeing a player who's never shouting, never moaning, but then all of a sudden start shouting. So they might have had a bad day at work, they might have had a bad day doing something else.
But you have to take that into account too.
Managers are the same, so they may be under pressure about different things, and then they get on the football pitch, and then that's where they sort of, I actually found, going back to the game, from COVID, there has been a lot more aggression, a lot more yapping coming into the game because people were locked up for 6 months and couldn't do anything, and then all of a sudden now it's all coming out. But the pressures are there, so for 90 minutes they may yap and they may give off because they're under pressure, but then again, once it comes afterwards, if they can calm down afterwards.
As you say, just within that 80 minutes, let them do what they want.
They can have a shit in them because it's football at the end of the day. They didn't shit in them. And that's the best way of doing it. That's the best way of doing it.
We got that bit out of the way. I didn't really want to name drop people, but it's always fun whenever that happens. Referee 11.
11?
Or 5.
We'll go 5 because 5 is probably hard enough. Goalkeeper. Mark O'Brien, who used to be the assistant referee in the Premiership, always classed himself as a bit of a goalkeeper. He can only play 5-a-side because of his height. So,
Is he tall?
He just lied on. So Mark O'Brien, he always thought himself as a bit of a goalkeeper.
2 defenders.
2 defenders.
Stephen Robinson surely has to be in there.
He's sure he's going to be more classy player though, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's like the way he loves himself that much. Did I say that's not going out, is it?
The way he runs too.
Marcus can't go out, is it? We'll cut that bit out, that's okay. Jamie's more of a midfielder, I would have thought. We'll put Stephen Gregg in at the back. Big trunks at the back.
Do you have nicknames for every referee?
There is. We'll not go into that or maybe at the moment. Otherwise I'll get told off. But Stephen Gregg. Stephen Gregg. Liked a wee bit of a tackle, liked a wee bit of a sort of back in the day. So we'll go Stephen Gregg in there. I'll put Tony Clark in beside him. When you talk about brutes and you talk about size, I don't know if he can play football, but he'd be
he just reminds me of just like an old school centre half. He just kick lumps out of it.
And it was funny. I went that game yesterday. It was a big old school centre forward against
an
old school centre half. And it was brilliant. It was absolutely superb. I loved it. But Tony Clark, the 2 of them in there, no nonsense. We'll keep it no nonsense centre halves as well.
Midfielders, you obviously mentioned.
We'll put Jamie in there as sort of as that player. And then we need a flair player. We need a wee flair player. We'll put. Who else is there we can put in there? Who else is there?
I'm thinking like a playmaker on height wise, and then I'm going to drop Lee in.
Lee Tavender, would you put Lee Tavender in there? Don't know about that's only because you're mid-ulcer. You want to stick with mid-ulcer ones, is that what it is? Stick with mid-ulcer ones. Okay, we'll put Lee in there as a wee playmaker then. We'll put Lee in as a playmaker.
And who's scoring the goals?
Who's scoring the goals? We'll put up
this is front. Really under pressure. Like.
We'll put
guy turned into 6.
We'll put Ray Crangle up front for a bit of crack.
Old school
centre forward. He's going to put his body up there, get him around, and he's going to manhandle other ones up there. So we'll put Ray Crangle up front. I'll be manager. Dan, he's in shout at the referees.
You would never do that. Never do that.
No, not again.
Thank you so much for coming down. I wish you all the best for obviously the recruitment of the referees. It is so important for the game here and everywhere that we do have new referees coming in because we wouldn't have football.
It's a massive opportunity for younger ones as well. Massive opportunity.
And as you say, the opportunities to go to different countries as well. There's a lot of incentive there.
Massive. And we talk about Jamie. Jamie was in Atletico Madrid.
Jamie ended up being 4th division at Man City.
So we have games and we don't publicise them. We need to publicise them more. The ones that are ones go out and do European games massively. Jamie last week was Atletico Madrid and I can't remember who it was in the Youth League. League in the Youth League. So he was there able to do that with Ben McMaster won this week, the Youth League game in Holland. So it's massive opportunities, and again we're not saying people want to come in and do junior football, kids football, they can happily stay there. But the younger ones and the ones who maybe can push on, you get some great experiences in life.
No, I hope the recruitment drive goes well, and as you said, there's a couple of people upstairs, 50 at Windsor and all the rest, so
fingers crossed we'll get more.
It's all about their promotion on the good side of it, so if we can get everyone
you're on the next course, is that what it is?
What, sorry?
You're on the next
I work every Saturday, so
okay. There's games other times?
But you can't be inconsistent all the time. But no, I thank you so much for coming down. It's a bit trap for you to come in and get on that, but
I mean something's ticked off the box for this year.
No bother. Anytime when you want to give you a shout, is that right? But
anytime. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're so welcome. And please guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn the bell on for all the notifications. Thanks. Bye.